If you are planning to get an external SSD in 2026, let me help you get the best one based on your needs and your budget. Let's start with the best SSDs under 5000 rupees. At this budget, you'll have to compromise either on storage or on speed. Now, if you want a fast SSD and you're okay with less storage, then the Transcend 310C is the best option for you. Although it only comes with 256GB storage, it has read and write speed of up to 1050 Mbps. And it took me 15.1 seconds to transfer a 10GB file, which is pretty awesome. It comes with both USB Type-C and Type-A ports, so you can use it with Macs and iPhone as well as Windows and Android. This is best for creators and editors who want to store large files on the SSD and edit directly from it. But if you want more storage and can compromise on speed, then you can go for SanDisk Ultra Dual Drive Go. For the same price, you get half a TB storage. However, the speed is just around 400 Mbps. So to transfer the same 10GB file, it took 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Now yes, this is slower, but it's still much faster than normal pen drives, which usually give a speed of around 100 to 150 Mbps. This is best for people who just want a reliable drive to store backups of their files, photos and videos. Now let's look at the best SSDs under 10,000. If your budget is on the lower side, then you can buy an internal SATA SSD and put it inside an enclosure and use it as an external SSD. Now SATA is an older technology, so the speeds are a bit lower, around 500 Mbps. But honestly, it's a great jugaad option. Online SATA SSDs are a bit overpriced right now, so I would suggest checking offline stores for better deals. And the second option which I would personally recommend is getting this 1TB Crucial X9 SSD. After all the discounts, it usually sells for around 10,000 rupees and it gives you speed of up to 1050 Mbps. When I personally tested it, these were the speeds I got, and it took just 13 seconds to transfer the same 10GB file. But before buying a new SSD because you think your data is gone, why not first check if files are still recoverable? And that's where our today's sponsor Wondershare Recoverit comes in. Recoverit basically helps you recover deleted files, formatted drives and even lost partitions from SSDs, HDDs, SD cards, pen drives, pretty much from every storage device. Now let's say you accidentally formatted your SSD. Normally you might think your data is gone forever, but with Recoverit you can simply select the drive, scan it, preview the lost files and recover them with just one click. You don't believe me, right? Let me format my own SSD which has a very important file on it. Normally I would be panicking, but I'm not, because I know I can just scan the SSD with Recoverit and very easily restore it and access it again. It even supports recovery for videos, photos, documents, raw footage and more than 10,000 file formats. I also tested its deep scan mode and it recovered files that I thought were permanently gone. So if you store important files on your SSD, this is definitely one tool worth having. I'll drop a link in the description, do check it out. Our next segment is best SSD under 15,000. In this budget, I would suggest going with SanDisk Extreme 1TB SSD, which has a speed of around 800 Mbps and it took 23.3 seconds to transfer the same 10GB file. This speed is more than enough for most people, whether you want to store large file, edit some videos on it or just expand your MacBook storage. Now you might think that Crucial X9 is cheaper and faster, then why not just go with this one? Let's say both of them fell from a specific height. This one would have a higher chance of surviving because this SSD is much more rugged and reliable. Now if your budget is around 20,000 rupees, then this is where you start getting proper high-end SSDs like the SanDisk Extreme and the Samsung T7. Both of these come with 1TB storage and gives you around 1000 Mbps speed, which means you can easily edit 4K videos directly from the SSD, transfer huge files in minutes and even use them as an extension of your MacBook's internal storage. For transferring the same 10GB file, SanDisk Extreme took 13.4 seconds and Samsung T7 took 13.1 seconds. Now personally, I really like the Samsung T7 because of how compact it is. I mean, it literally fits inside my wallet. But one thing to keep in mind is that the T7 is usually a bit more expensive and depending on the sales, it can sometimes go slightly over this 20,000 budget. On the other hand, SanDisk Extreme is much more rugged and durable. It also comes with IP65 water and dust resistance. So if you travel a lot or carry your SSD everywhere, then getting this one makes a lot more sense. However, if you like Samsung's compact design but still want something rugged, then they also have the T7 Shield, which is basically a more durable version of the regular T7. And also it is 1 to 2,000 more expensive. Now you may also come across the Samsung T9, which gives around 2000 Mbps speed and cost only 2 to 3,000 more than the T7. Seeing those bigger numbers may tempt you to buy the faster smaller variant. But if you're a Mac user, don't make that mistake, because for T9 to reach its full 2000 Mbps speed, it needs USB 2.2 Gen 2x2, and currently no Apple devices support that. So on your Mac, the T9 will perform just like T7 anyway. And finally, if your surname is Ambani and you have an unlimited budget, then you can go for Samsung T7 4TB variant, which costs a whooping 1.1 lakh rupees. By the way, at that price, you can literally buy a new MacBook. And if you want to take a risk and wait for SSD prices to drop, then you can watch this video and free up your MacBook storage. However, if you have lost files from an SSD or SD card, try scanning it with Recover It before replacing the drive. Bye.